Thank you for tuning into my channel. So if you made your way to the video, it's because you don't have water. So in this video, I'm going to talk about pressure tanks and pressure switches. So the first thing you're going to want to do if you do not have water is you're going to come over here to your pressure switch. You're going to take the cover off. And if you see here, these are your contacts. Now you're going to have wires going to these, and it's going to be 240 volts typically. So don't touch any of this with your fingers because you'll get electrocuted. What I want you to use is use your cover of your switch and go down here and flick the contacts. You see how I can open those and close those? So you're going to use your cover and flick those. Sometimes you get carbon buildup, or you get a bug or an ant or something to crawl in between those contacts. It closes on them, and then it will not make a complete circuit. So if you have a problem with your switch, you might want to just go ahead and replace it. So if you're going to replace it, make sure you don't buy the one with the little arm sticking out of the side. That's a low pressure cutout switch. They're a pain in the butt to deal with. Secondly, if you come here below it, this little nipple here, this nipple can build up with like iron buildup on the inside, and it'll block completely off, and then the switch will never see the water pressure that is below it, so then it won't activate right. So what you would do is you would turn the power off to the breaker, to the well pump, remove all of your wires from your screws, pull them out of your switch, take a 3/4 inch wrench and unspin this from the nipple, and then take a screwdriver and jam it through the nipple to make sure that it's completely clear, and then you can put your switch back on and then put your wires back together. Now if you do go get another switch, if you look underneath your switch, you have all these words here. So if I zoom in, if you see right there in the upper left hand corner, it says on 40, off 60. So those are your key numbers. So to set your tank correctly, you're going to want 5 to 2 psi below whatever that on number was. So if we come here to this tank, we have multiple tanks here, and these are all brand new. So you're going to go to your tank. How do you know if it's good or not? Is by tipping it over. If you can move your tank, then it's good. If it's bad, it's going to weigh about 200 pounds because it's full of water and it can't get the water out of it because the bladder or the balloon that's inside that typically holds the water, it has ruptured, and now the other portion of the tank is now filled with water and it cannot evacuate it. So how can you tell if your tank is bad? First off, you can knock on it. It's supposed to ring like a bell if it's good. Second test, you can try to tip it over. If you can move it, it's probably good. Come over here to the top of the tank where you have your Schrader valve. If you press it and water comes out, it's bad. You press it and air comes out, that's good. Now, if you press yours and no air comes out, that's a problem. You're going to want to air your tank up to either 25, 28 psi if you have a 30-50 switch, or you're going to want 35 to 38 psi if you have a 40-60 switch like I have here. Typically nowadays 40-60 is going to be the most common. If you have a system that is 10 years or older, you may have a 30-50 switch. Some really old systems come with 20-40s. The same rule would apply. If you have a 20-40 switch, the on would be 20, so your tank pressure would be 15 to 18 psi. So if you say your tank is bad and it's time for you to replace your tank, go ahead and replace your switch also. So the most important thing when you buy a brand new tank, you think that it's pre-charged at 35 or 38, but you come over here and you test, and it has 40.7. So 40.7, what would happen is if I were to install this switch onto this tank and turn the system on, it would pump up like normal. But when you used water, it would get all the way to 40, and it would never drop anything below that because the switch says it's supposed to cut on at 40, but the air pressure in the tank is almost 41. So the air pressure in the tank manipulates the water pressure to never drop below that. That's why you want 35 to 38 pounds of air in the tank, to where the switch has that small little window to kick on before the tank completely runs out of water. So if you have installed a brand new tank and a brand new switch, and your problem is that you run water and it runs out, and then, you know, magically it cuts right back on, or within a few minutes it'll cut right back on after installing a brand new tank, then what you have is too much air in your tank. The only way, this is important, the only way to properly set or adjust the air pressure in your tank is with the power off and all the water drained out of the tank. That is the only way to properly set the air pressure. So since this is a new tank, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to let about 10 seconds worth of air out. Then I'm going to get my gauge again, turn it on. I'm going to check it again. And we are at 37.3. So we are below the 38, which is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and put my cap back on, make sure it's tight. Sometimes the Schrader valves are a little leaky, but it's very important to properly set the air pressure in your tank to correlate with the switch. Now, if you take your cover off of your switch and you look and you see on this like white decal, you see some burn marks. The reason why you have burn marks is because the switch is cycling way too frequently. And the reason why it's doing that is because there's probably no air in your tank. You have to have air in your tank. It gives it a cushion. So inside of this tank, imagine there's a balloon inside of here. The balloon, like regular, any regular balloon you see, it's just got that spot where you hook it to the hose or you put your mouth against it and you blow it up. Well, the same concept here. It's connected to the very bottom of the tank and it's connected to that fitting. That's where your balloon is connected on the inside. Well, the balloon is only 1/3 of the size of the tank. They call these 20-gallon tanks. But the tank itself only holds about 7 gallons of water. Why is that? Because the balloon is down here in the bottom. The balloon is rubber. It fills with water to where the water never touches the metal of the inside of the tank. So the balloon is the bottom 1/3 of the tank, and the top 2/3 of the tank is to store air pressure. So you're going to have 35 to 38 psi of air in this bladder tank here, and it's going to help push against the balloon. It's basically artificial atmospheric pressure, and that pushes against the balloon to force water out. So once the balloon is almost completely drained of water, the water pressure would be lower. Then the switch says, okay, it's time to kick back on. The contacts would then close, the pump would turn on, the bladder would fill back up. Once it gets to about 7 gallons of water again, it'll be around 60 psi. The contacts will then open and the system will then be off. So that is how a bladder tank, you know, pressure tank, well tank, whatever you want to call it, that is how the system works. That's what's going on inside of this tank here. And that's how a pressure switch works. It's very simple. It sees water from below it. It's got a tiny little diaphragm, and it pushes up on it and it pushes down on it. And that's how it works. If you have gone through your system and looked at your tank and found that it's low on air, go ahead, turn the breaker off. Get you a little air compressor. When you turn the well breaker off, open up a sink and then leave that sink open. Go down under your house, hook up an air compressor to this and turn it on. The reason why you're going to want to leave a sink open is to evacuate all of the water that's inside of this tank, because the balloon or the bladder that's inside, it might have a tiny little pinhole in it. If you leave the sink open in your house and the well breaker is off, when you're adding air to this tank, it's going to force out all of the water. Then if the bladder is good, it will then start to build compressed air inside the tank, as the way it should. If it has a tiny pinhole in that bladder, what's going to happen is air that you are pumping into the top of that with the air compressor will then in turn start coming out of the faucet in your kitchen or your bathroom or whichever faucet you have open. That's a good way to tell if the tank is bad. But you can't do that, you know, until you hook up an air compressor to it to recharge the system to its proper operating pressure, which is 2 to 5 psi below. whatever the on valuation is underneath your cover. Very simple. Once you understand it, these systems are very easy to understand. So the tank is important for the life of your pump. So if you have a 5-gallon tank, this is a 20-gallon tank, so if you have a 5-gallon tank, just imagine that a 20-gallon tank is going to give you 4 times the life expectancy of the pump, because the pump will only have to kick on 25% of the amount of time as a small, tiny little 5-gallon tank would. So the bigger the tank, the longer the life expectancy of the pump, because it slows down the cycle times. So if you had a 40-gallon tank, you could imagine that the pump is only going to turn on and off twice as frequent, because it's going to store more water. But once the air pressure or the bladder goes bad or the air pressure leaks out, doesn't matter how big the tank is, the tank's not working right. So you're not getting the optimum efficiency out of the tank. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'm right on the other side. I'll answer any questions. If this video did not pertain to you and did not fix your problem, please go check out my channel. There are dozens of well-related videos that I promise you will find helpful, as thousands of other people have as well. Thank you all for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. If this video gave you any insight into your system at all, please give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.